Sadly, a lot of the footage from the building is unusable, so instead I will be going over my hardware choices as well as the OS I picked and some of the problems I encountered while building. I bought most of the stuff either used or refurbished, well all except the drives, for reasons that are not too hard to understand. For CPU, I got a used Xeon off of eBay for $20 Canadian. Well actually I bought two of them, since I made the ungodly mistake of buying a 2011 V3 CPU for a 2011 V2 socket, without noticing. In the end, I settled on a Xeon 2650 V2 CPU with 8 cores and 16 threads running at 2.6 GHz. Good for my needs, as I rarely see it go above 10% usage. For RAM, I went with 2 sticks of 16GB DDR3 ECC RAM running at 1600 MHz for a total of 32 gigs, although I do plan on upgrading to 64 at some point. For main storage, I went with 6 4TB WD Blue drives in RAID 1 that I got new from Newegg, as they were cheaper than on Amazon. I also have 240 gigs of redundant write cache and 230 gigs of read cache on an NVMe drive, for a total of 17 usable terabytes of storage. And a dual 120 gig Kingston SSD for boot, as they were the cheapest at my local computer parts store. In theory, it could lose one of each drive and I would be none the wiser. I used a generic SAS expander that I got on eBay for around $60 to mount it all on the cheap. Finally, the motherboard to tie everything together is a Remake X79 motherboard from Newegg I got for around $80. And if you think remake and motherboard should not be in the same sentence, you'd be scared to hear that it was branded motherboard from the renowned computer company World of Warships. Of course it came with no manual, online or otherwise, but for now it functions as expected for a back alley motherboard. The board has 4 DDR3 slots with 1 NVMe drive, 1 CPU socket, 1 PCIe 16X slot, and 1 PCIe 4X slot. Using a 2650 CPU does come with its own problems. Namely being, it does not have its own display out, so I had to hook up my own GPU to be a display out while installing the operating system. And for the operating system, I picked TrueNas Scale. It was hard to pick between TrueNas Scale, Core, or Proxmox. Ultimately, I decided to pick TrueNas Scale as I wanted a more storage-focused server than a compute-focused server. Well, I could manually pass all the disk through to TrueNas VM. For storage functions, I figured that it would be much more of a pain than it was worth. So I eliminated Proxmox and raw Ubuntu, as that would be even more of a pain. As for the choice between TrueNas Core and Scale, I picked Scale due to the fact that it has native support for Docker, seeing as it's Debian based, without having to go through a VM like its BSD counterparts. As well as some personal experiences in the past with TrueNas Core, like shares going offline or all user passwords being reset to null. There will be a video on that eventually. The install and setup, which I sadly have no footage of, went fine, except for the fact that my motherboard thought it was 2016, but before long I had it booted and my array online. Now, this is not to say that everything has been 100% smooth as butter. If you've ever worked with or around IT equipment, you know that every install has its own 1 in a million error, and every person has a one bug that only happens around them. But for the most part, it's been perfectly fine in day-to-day usage. Wow! That was some great script reading there. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitch, or you can join the Discord to chat with me over Discord. Yeah, thank you for watching the video, and see ya. Bye.